Hello, welcome to Going 19, the Stephen King podcast. Today's episode 65. We are starting the fifth book in the Dark Tower series, Wolves of the Calla. We are reading up to part 2. I'm Amber. With me are Ed and Allie. So let's start the show.
Hello. Well done. Yay. So now we're on to book 5 and we're in the meat of the tower, I guess you'd say. So it's like everything up to this point has just been getting ready. I'm getting
You can really tell that, he was taking it seriously before, but then you can tell he gets into the accident and he's like, okay, it's time to kick it into high gear now.
Yeah, that's like point number 2. This is post-accident Dark Tower.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's ramping up to something and it has more of a purpose now, but dear God, does he get obsessed with the number 19?
Happens quick, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're making a joke, I think, on the first page, and you don't even know what it means yet. You're like, what?
That was kind of part of what I meant, too, was it's not that I'm complaining, and it's very important, and our podcast is called Going 19, but I kind of was like, all right, buddy, we get it. We know. Well, I mean, a lot of us know that your accident was on June 19th, 1999.
Yeah, he really obsessed on that. Well, I mean, I don't... Anyway, there's more coming to be continued on that take.
Yeah, never mind. You're right.
So there is. That's what I'm saying. It's not too many pages, but there's so much happening on every page. I had to read it slow. I went through, 2 weeks and then another 5 days, and I read every day, and that's how it still took me till Thursday to finish.
I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't start reading until yesterday.
I figured. When you text Going 19, I was like, oh my God, you're only at that part?
No, I was just answering your shirt because I knew what it meant.
Oh, I thought you were talking about, there's a part in this here somewhere that I highlighted, but that doesn't help me narrow it down much. That says Eddie's thinking or something. And he's like, things are going 19. I was like, oh, we made it.
Yeah.
We're in there.
Yeah.
It's funny. Ever since we've come up with this name, when I've looked up definitions and try to explain it to people, and we've even talked about this, I never really felt like I was getting the right answer. And now that I'm rereading the book where he introduces the concept of going 19, I'm like, this is exactly what I thought it was. This is exactly how I remember it being, and I'm glad I'm not crazy, and I love it, and I love being here again.
Right. And now I like the name of your podcast.
No, I still don't really get that it's what it officially means to be going 19, I guess. And I'm getting hints of it, and it's obviously a fate thing or a Ka thing, but I started, because I couldn't fully grasp my head around it, so I started reading the concordance, and I was like, I feel like I'm reading things that I shouldn't know yet, so I stopped.
That's probably true.
That's what I was gonna say. We haven't really fully learned what it means yet, because we don't know everything yet.
Yeah.
Yes, but at least it's starting to happen. Yeah, be careful with that concordance.
Yeah, I think I'm just not gonna look at the concordance again unless I really need to for something until we get to the end of it.
Yeah, do it on the reread. It's probably better that way.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to get through Fairy Tale, man. The tower's all.
Oh my gosh. You've been reading that thing for 3 months.
Well, right. Some weeks are easier than others. This week was not much time. I only read for the last 2 days on Fairy Tale. I think I'm just going to audiobook the rest of it. Cheap. But it's interesting. I just, it's hard to do the tower and anything else, especially now, Calla, and it doesn't leave room for a lot of thought about other stuff. But it's a really cool story. But
is it Calla?
Oh, trust me, we've had this discussion before.
Because like, and I know I'm kind of jumping ahead, but like, Susanna says Calla and Callahan are not even pronounced the same. So I was like, I started trying to find audiobooks to see how other people pronounce it, but she said it's Spanish influences. So I'm like, wouldn't that be Calla?
It would. Calla.
Yeah, you would think.
I don't know how to answer that.
So can you
Like,
tell me
yeah.
that that's not how he pronounces it when you
No, in the
translate it?
audiobook, Calla and Callahan are it's Calla and Callahan. So I don't know what the hell she's even talking about.
I don't know.
Because trust me, when I
Audio.
read this the first time, especially with Magus or Magis, is how I would have thought it was pronounced.
Yeah.
It's like, is it Spanish or not? Like it kind of sometimes, but
I think it's
not
almost like
officially.
they took Spanish words but don't pronounce them like it's in a Spanish way.
Yeah.
Right? They made them like European.
Yeah, because
Uh,
there's another one that I listened to that it was like Calla, and I was like, I hate that.
I don't even like know where he got that from because I'm not.
Oh,
I
maybe
don't
that's
think
what
I've ever
you
heard
mean,
that
though.
for.
Because if you
What?
have Callahan and Calla, those are the two different vowels.
I guess he's saying Calla, but he's still Calla. It's still Calla. Calla.
Calla.
I guess the first A. I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It's not that much different.
It doesn't.
And
It
and
does not
woohoo,
seem like it's pronounced Kaya though.
no, it's definitely no. The guy's in the no. I can tell you because I was audiobooking the feather, the all important feather that people won't talk if it's not in their hand. Even though he was like jumping up and down about to pee himself, he wouldn't talk without that damn feather.
Also, I know we just like kind of brushed by it, but I was so happy to see Callahan again.
I know. Well, and I figured out that it was Callahan before it actually said it was, and I was like, ah! I'm so excited.
Yeah, he's yeah. I don't know. Allie, do you like Callahan? I don't know. Like, it's all you have is Salem's Lot. You don't know this Callahan yet.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right.
He's not
So,
very heroic.
well, and he wasn't heroic really in Salem's Lot either because he started overthinking it.
No, that's our point. You don't in at least from Salem's Lot, you don't really have a reason to respect him.
That's fair. But I knew that he was coming back because of you guys, so maybe it spoiled it for me a little bit. But I don't know. I'm excited to see a character I know again. Even if he's someone that I don't really have respect for.
That's true.
What did he do? He ran. His forehead got burned because he didn't believe enough or something like that. And then he just said, "Fuck it, I'm out of here." I can't remember.
Yeah, his hand got burned when he grabbed at the church, and he was like, "I can't stay here. I have to run because if I don't, he'll get me."
Oh, he like
I went back and
got bit.
Huh?
I thought he tried to fight what's his name and he lost.
Because he didn't believe, and that's how he got the scar on his forehead.
Yeah.
Barlow took the cross and like put it on his forehead, and he's like you got no.
I thought he was gonna win, and then he lost the power. It was like, "Oops, you don't believe." Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Well, it's the cross on the forehead isn't in Salem's Lot though, because I went back and read it.
Oh.
I do think that's true. That like the scar part wasn't there.
Well, he got Barlow burned him. Is that the hand? I guess.
Yeah, the hand is when he went to try and enter the church, but he couldn't because he had Barlow's blood in him.
Wow, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I should have went back and read the end of Salem's Lot. We just read that. Well, it's been like a year now. April, my God.
Oh my God, you're right. It feels like we did just read that.
We've just been in the tower for a while.
Yeah,
we've also
longer than you realize.
We've been I think this is obviously the most consistent we've been podcasting, so we've been keeping up with it.
True.
Yeah. We got over 100 people relying on us now.
Yeah.
I don't know how many actually I think the answer is not many listen to the whole episodes. But.
Don't say that. Who cares? when I was with Grammy, she did. She had some really good feedback. She was like, "I don't know what you're talking about a lot of time, obviously because I haven't read the books, but it's really just interesting to listen to the conversation, even not knowing the plot." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well that's good to know."
Well, I mean, we kind of give away the plot a little bit at a time, don't we?
Well, yeah, but like, if you know, I don't know. I guess that is kind of her point, is that you don't need to know the plot to be part of the discussion.
I feel like Grammy would like it no matter like how bad it was.
But okay, then also Debbie agreed. She was like, "Yeah, I heard an episode and it was really cool."
No comment. Well, good. I'm glad they like it. Was Grammy actually listening to it, or was that like a one-time thing?
I don't know.
So Grammy, was she 75? Happy birthday.
Yeah.
She's a year older than Granddad, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Happy birthday.
Gotta tell you something about that. So, what are we at? 19. Hey, look at that. I have to edit 19 minutes into it. The editing's going 19. So, Walter is a half human. Didn't know that.
I noted that too. I was like, do we know that already?
I don't know what his other half is.
Well, I don't think it expressly said to this point, but like, how otherwise would he still be alive and dicking with him?
To be honest, I didn't assume that he was any part human.
Roland chased him for 1,000 years, so does that make Roland half human?
I mean, to be completely honest, I don't think Roland is fully human either.
Well, yeah, I guess he's something.
But Roland didn't, enchant an entire town and create all these traps and do he clearly flagged Walter, whoever he is, has powers.
Oh yeah, he does it just for fun, I think. So he can titter.
But I was more surprised that he's even any part human.
Yeah, he's kind of like a shadow, like the magicians in the Final Fantasy game, just like black shadows with a hat on. That's what he reminds me of, because he's like, whatever he looks like doesn't really help, because he's going to look different the next time you see him.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like like his features are in flux or wavy or something.
I just now permanently picture Skarsgård, Alexander.
Huh.
Oh, he's Flag, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good Flag. I did not know Enrico Balazar was driving the car that Jack Mort pushed Jake into.
Oh, I definitely did not catch that.
After being pushed into 43rd Street and run over by a car. The car's driver was a man named Enrico Balazar. The pusher was a sociopath named Jack Mort.
Oh, that's in the beginning still.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm told you there's some good information here in the beginning. You got to read these arguments, because he always changes what he's saying.
That's what's so annoying. Is like, that's not what you said in the last book, but all right, this is where we're going with now.
Right. So you're right. So this is all, and the silly part about this is he wrote these 3 books like as one book. He didn't stop after 5 and for a couple months and then start 6. He just kept the next day he turned another page, and the publisher decided where to split it.
No. So he really.
I don't know if that's 100% true, but he wrote them all. He just kept going. So he probably decided where to split it, but he didn't stop writing. So
didn't you say, I don't know if this, I think if this was just conjecture or not, but that he was afraid that he was not going to be able to finish it. So he wanted to get it out in case something happened.
Absolutely. Yeah. He didn't want to be he named somebody that didn't finish. Tolkien? Not Tolkien finished, right? Somebody.
I think Tolkien finished. I wish George R. R. Martin would do that.
And he's living a high life. He's never going to finish. Did I tell you guys about the Simpsons episode the other week where they do a cutaway and George Martin is in his mom's basement and he's down there playing video games or something? And he's like, "George, finish your book." He's like, "I'm working on it, Mom." That's funny. You made it when you do a Simpsons cutaway parody. I don't know. He was supposed to finish book 6 when I was reading book 5 by the end of 2017. And I don't think it's out yet.
I don't think so.
So he's clearly in no hurry. But it took him 20 years to write the first 5, so he doesn't exactly go fast.
Yeah.
It's also like, that's a great work. Well, I haven't read it, but people seem to love it, and there's a lot of books already. Not everybody can be on the level of Stephen King.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of books already, and I think the argument right now is that it's basically already finished because of the TV show, but the books were going in a different direction than where the TV show went when at the end of book 5.
Yeah.
So I think it would have, even though they told him, or he told them, the public, HBO, how he was roughly intending to finish it, it's not the same.
Yeah.
No, the end of the series was horrible. No confrontations at all. Everybody, they died under a pile of rocks. They didn't fight anybody. What the hell, man? I waited 6 seasons for the big final battle, and it never happened.
Yeah.
It would be so funny if he wrote the book exactly the way the show.
That would be kind of funny. He's like, here. Anyway, yeah, I think it might be Ludlum that he was talking about with the Bourne. Somebody that does one of those series. He was like, I didn't want to be him, or I never finished it. So he was like, yeah, he basically got hit by a car. It's like, oh crap, I might die, and he wrote 10,000 pages the next couple of weeks.
I just picture him sitting in the hospital bed, all bandaged up, and just typing away.
I picture, for reasons that I can't, I picture Roland standing behind him, watching him.
Well,
I picture him picturing that. You know what I mean? While he's sitting there writing, he can just see Roland standing over his shoulder. He's like, nah. Don't do that.
Roland is his court in his head.
Yeah. Everything has to. It's like his editor. Everything has to go through Roland. Let's see what else we got. Wait, I highlighted Andrew Quick for some reason. The Ageless Stranger is Richard Fannin, who RF. That makes him Walter, right? I thought I didn't know.
No, that has come up before.
Well, didn't the prologue essentially say that Walter and Martin and Flag and the Ageless Stranger are all the same person?
Yeah.
Well, that's what he's saying, and I didn't know I thought the Ageless Stranger was Marilyn. So I got that wrong.
Oh, actually, I think
it was saying and possibly Marilyn.
Yeah, is he saying that he's all of them?
No, Marilyn's somebody else, right?
I don't know anymore.
Marilyn was the tiger.
Whatever. They're all the same.
Yeah, we have this argument every goddamn podcast. In the next paragraph, it's Roland's ancient nemesis, Martin Broadcloak, known in some worlds as Randall Flagg, and others as Richard Fannin, and others as John Farson, the good man.
Wait, he is John Farson?
Yeah, what kind of shit is that? Because John Farson sent tittering Walter to Magus when Roland and them were there to I can't remember the guy's name that he was talking to, the horse rancher.
Muffin Hunters, whatever. Or yeah.
Yeah, the Pap or somebody. Remember they had a meeting, and it was obviously Walter, but not Walter by name. I don't think they named him, but it was, he tittered, I think, a couple times.
Well, yeah, I guess we suspected that he could be him, but it definitely never felt like that. And then,
I'm saying
none of them know what John Farson looks like.
Well, I'm saying according to that, they're two different people. Because
Walter could have just lied.
Well, yeah, okay, I'm true.
Well, did anyone ever see Farson?
I'm assuming not.
Because he would have been like, I'm going to be in my tent planning, and then actually gone to, he's done whatever he needed to there.
Yeah, isn't there a thing that nobody knows what he looks like? Maybe he doesn't actually exist.
Or that, yeah.
Well, we also suspected that, but it's just so funny when Stephen King is so he hints at things, and so we're just left to guess. And then in the next book, he's like, "No, this is what it is. That's what I said." And we're like, "That's not what you said," but okay.
Here's what we're going with. That's why I had to hire himself an editor to check himself. Um, All Hail the Crimson King advises one watch for the Walking Dude. And as alert readers will know, the Walking Dude has a name very similar to Richard Fenton. He's like calling himself out.
Yeah.
The Walking Dude is Randall Flagg, Allie, if you don't know that. Yeah, his arguments get different every time. So, I guess we have to start with, well, we're a half hour in. I'll call it starting. What the fuck is going on with the room?
Okay, this is gonna be so hard because I remember everything.
Well, okay.
I'll ask Allie.
What?
Actually, I'm just kidding. I forgot they actually do go over what happens to them. So.
Yeah. So as far as we know, first of all, I have a lot of questions. Why do they have so many goddamn twins all the time?
Yeah, is that an effect of like radiation or something?
Yeah, did they live too close to Thunderclap and like there's like mutations leaking out, infecting them?
Well, they did
Maybe.
mention that they thought they were the norm and then realized that most people don't have only twins.
Yeah, and I think now you know, and I remember after reading why I put the other books where I did. Just saying.
Yeah.
So as far as we know, yeah, I forgot like when they come back, all the stuff that they go through, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was the part that I totally forgot too. It's and it's again
what the twins go through.
Yeah, like the ones that come back
the
off the
one.
train that nobody knows how many years they've been doing it, but I'm assuming there's a pile of like 100 or 200 trains.
6 generations or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, they could figure it out by counting the trains. Like, why has nobody ever done that? It can't be that many trains.
I do also like the point they made that were like for example, Andy, he cannot give them information about the wolves, but that clearly was not programmed by the old people because the wolves have only been around for 6 generations, and that was a long time ago. So like, who did this?
So there's a lot to talk about. Like, I haven't made it to Andy yet.
I know.
Okay, so Root. Yeah, I just thought they came back and they were big. So they come back and they get big real quick.
It is
so quick that it hurts.
It's an interesting phenomenon, I guess I'll call it. Like, even I don't want to like, we've read it before, I know, but like even knowing what happens to them, it's still strange that that's what happens.
It's yeah, like okay, so what is the point? Why are they taking them and what are they doing?
Well, and it's I wish they would almost say like if there was a distinction between the types of twins they took. Like, is it the twin who's smarter or more charismatic, or like?
That's a good question.
Is it the one who is more likely to go further in life, most likely to succeed?
Yeah.
Or are they taking the already dumber one?
Also, when they said they take the spark that makes a human, it's like, okay, so are you taking what, like their intelligence or their soul, or
that is
like is Rosie hanging out there? Or...
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I know, but I don't know.
Right.
It's
obviously they're still somewhat.
They obviously
they just fundamentally change them.
I do have to say that's what I love. I didn't like this book as much when I read it the first time because I just wanted to get to the end. But now, like that, I'm enjoying the journey. I love it, and I love the mystery. I love the way that things are unfolding and just the little hints here and there. And I'm like, this is so exciting.
A good book never gives up its secrets all at once.
Mm-hmm.
One of his
And so
favorite things.
it's like, yeah, you're like, okay, why? Yeah, like where do these come from? Why is this happening? What's happening to them? Why do they pick the ones they do? What's wrong with them when they come back? Like,
Yeah, and that's just root questions. Now let's move on to Andy, and then let's talk about the cat. Like, there's so much.
and the
What the fuck?
wolves.
Like, I think Roland said that when he said Mia. We haven't even gotten to that yet.
Oh my god.
Roland said that when he's thinking about Mia. He's like, we didn't have enough going on. Now this.
He says that he's like, please, for the love of whatever, can we just
Yeah.
let her not give birth until after we fix this?
Yeah. Like, dude, Jesus, how much are you throwing at me? And then Eddie said that. Like, I guess we thought we were just going to walk to the tower and fix it and be done with it. No, no, no. That's not the way that's going to work.
That's not how gunslingers are.
Yeah, and I like how at the edge of nowhere they all adhere to these codes for some reason that nobody's even like probably seen a gunslinger in 1,000 years.
Well, they did have a
But they
little
must
thing.
ask, and he must do this. They all have the
They were like-
ritual.
Well, but it seems like they don't know that. At least the people of the Calla don't know the rituals.
Well, it seems like they're trying to be something of a civilized society on the edge of, I don't know, oblivion. I'm not sure exactly what Thunderclap is.
I don't think I would say trying to be, because they seem very impressed with the way that they're set up. I think they are civilized.
Especially Wayne D. Overholser. Is he a real country writer? That was what that was, right? He wrote one of the country western books in the store.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if he's a real author though, but yes.
Yeah, I didn't bother to look it up, and it wouldn't matter because he does what he wants.
Right.
Yeah. Why don't they just like leave? I don't like. Okay, it might suck, but just they're in what end world? Go back to like mid world or beginning world or something. Get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I do kind of agree with that, because they're like, no, our home is here. And I'm like, yeah, but like, at what cost?
But why?
Right. Yeah, as far as I can tell, your home ain't worth a whole lot, so who gives a shit? And yeah, and the one guy's like, oh, well, the wolves would just follow us. Like, well, have you tried? I don't think.
And also, how do you know that? It's like, if you go far enough away, how are they going to find you?
Yeah, I don't think they're that good.
Yeah, I'm like, have they ever considered the proximity to the dark place, Thunderclap?
Right. And they're on horses. We know that. And all the horses are gray, which amazed Eddie and Roland for some reason that I didn't figure out.
Well, I was like, why is it such a big deal that all the horses are the same color?
I guess to me, I kind of get that, because you don't see a lot of gray horses. Well, I guess I don't see a lot of horses like wild in general, but at least, well, that's not true. I can look out my window right now and none of those horses are gray.
Okay, I see more going to your house than I do anywhere else.
So I get why they're like, whoa, like all 60 of them are the same color. Like, why? Also, it does feel like, what difference does it make?
I mean, it's a little odd, but it like they were like full stop. Wait a minute, what's going on? Like I didn't see it as all that, but
also oh my god, like we need to talk about this almost privately. There are so many things that I didn't pick up on the first time that I'm like, wow, this is so obvious. I know. How did I not see this before?
I mean, that's not going to stop. So there's you almost have to do it twice. You have to do it once to read it, and then twice for the Easter eggs that you don't realize are there.
Yeah.
So I'll be reading this entire series again. Cool.
And it will be even more fun the second time.
True.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
I might not get as mad as at the first book.
You won't, because you'll understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you're not done getting mad.
Oh, good.
In a different way.
Right. In many ways. Mad, sad, you'll be all over the place. Don't worry about it. I'm just moving on. I'm not even going to comment. I was going to talk about how it ended, and then like, nope, not doing that. How it made me feel, not what happened.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
I was like, spoilers.
Yeah, so I was like, no, I'm not even going to say a word about that. So, for some reason, Tia and Tian are married, right?
No.
No. Tia
Tiara.
and Zalia.
Yeah.
Tian filed with his sister. Oh, so Tian and Tia are twins, and Tia is Root.
Yes.
And Tian is the one who now has 2 sets of twins, and he's like, "Fuck that!
Yep.
Enough is enough." And then, yeah, I'm like, well, why this time did they decide? I guess if it's once a generation, none of these people are old enough, and they're just like, "Fuck this, we're fighting back." I don't think it's an interesting dilemma for sure.
It's definitely a good ethics question.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, I don't know what's.
Well,
I mean,
can't
you
believe,
can't let that happen. You just can't. I don't know that I could live with myself.
I cannot believe the one parent was like, "Listen, it would suck, but if I had to give up one to save the other one, then I would do it." And I'm like, "What? How did you make that decision?"
Well, I was even more shocked by the one who was like, "We should just kill them all," and I'm like, no.
The Manny said that. I was
Yeah.
amazed.
To be honest, I'm like the religious guy. That doesn't surprise me as much.
I didn't
Right,
realize it was Manny. That okay?
Manny's are they're like monks. I think like they walk around in robes and like chant and like swing incense around.
Yeah, so like I didn't see it as like a, it was just like this is a like a almost not even religious but like educated person making a like decision that has no empathy in it.
He's like, just giving you options, if anybody else wants to agree, I'll keep talking about it.
We're all just spitballing here. What do you want?
Yeah. I didn't hear anybody say no. They're like, no. Yeah, I mean, talk about extreme. My God.
Well, he did say. Did he say all of them? Yeah, I guess he did. Yeah, never mind.
I mean, yes, something needs to be done. I don't think that's the answer. Andy, meanwhile, let's talk about. Okay, so
trust Andy.
There's
something I don't like about him.
Well,
Eddie definitely doesn't like him, and I think part of the reason you're saying that is because of Eddie, because Eddie always thinks he's smug when he answers them. So I do.
Well, I mean, it's not just him. It was like Tian doesn't really. I think I don't. Well, we didn't really see Callahan interacting with Andy, but
so 2 things.
Just this hulking 7-foot figure that was created by North Central Positronics. I'm like, I don't know that I trust anything that they create.
Well,
what do we know about them so far? Anything? Did they create the portal or something?
Yeah, Shardix.
Yeah. Okay, that was
Oh crap! No, I was gonna say 2 things though about Andy. One, I just think the people in the town are probably annoyed by him because you'll find out like he's just very talkative and like not very helpful and just like says a lot of things. And then the second thing I'll say though, actually to counter that, because I do agree with you, is that we have seen more than one robot that loses its mind. So I agree with you. We should not trust him at all just because he's a robot. He could be evil.
Yeah. Well, and it even says when Eddie's talking to him that he's like, he can't be like programmed to hurt humans, can he? And it's like, how quickly you forget about Blaine? Like, hello.
Andy is again, okay, so we had 10 questions just on what the fuck's going on with Root. I got 10 questions on Andy. Why is he there? Why is he still there? Why did he get programmed to give some information away but not enough to do anything with?
Yeah, why? I didn't.
He knows when the wolves are coming and he can't tell them how to stop them, stuff like that.
What is the point of warning that? Obviously, I'm assuming that was programmed by whoever set the wolves up in the first place.
Like Roland said, what do you need Andy for? You're going to see the dust when they start coming days in advance. So,
yeah,
right. Like, what is
all Andy does to give them more time to be terrified.
Exactly. Sorry. Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just about creating more fear.
I mean, maybe the fear tastes better. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but
Right.
they're sucking something out of them, right? By some means.
They're clearly not the same when they come back.
Yep.
Oh, and not to mention, so also, like we said, something happens to them that causes them to physically change, mentally, obviously, as well. And then also to die at like 30.
And then they just get old
Oh,
all of a sudden after living a horrible life for 20 years. Like, oh my God, just fucking kill them.
It's so strange. Like, what is it in them that they take out that causes that to happen?
I don't know that there's ever really an answer to that.
Yeah.
It's whatever creates, what does he say? Creates the spark of life is gone.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's their soul if you want to go that route.
I do have to say, I think a part of that conversation was a little bit like, ooh, I don't know about this, because like there are actual humans who are, alive and like this today that are definitely valuable also. Because they were saying something like, well, what good are they? We might as well, they're useless anyway. Might as well get rid of them. I was like, okay, they're still people though.
ouch.
Well, are they? I mean, like, I think at least he tried to create a affliction that does not exist in the real world, so you're mostly safe.
I mean,
Sort of.
sure, but like you can still liken it to other disabilities.
And maybe in their situation where they're it's a farming community, maybe they are useless in that situation.
No,
Maybe it's not.
I get. I'm not saying like, oh, they should have more compassion. My point is just more from like, I don't know. You know what? Never mind. I guess that is the point. Because I was thinking like from Stephen King's perspective, I'm like, I don't know if I would be describing or talking about them like this, because there are real people in the world who are, might be similar. But to that point, like you said, he's from the perspective of the Calla, so they, wouldn't have that.
I mean, you have to allow for people to use their imaginations and make stuff up, right?
That's not what I mean, but never mind.
I mean, a lot of horror deals with a lot of maladies, I guess is the way to say that.
No. I was just more saying, like, isn't that a bit insensitive? Because, like, I get that this is a quote unquote made up disease, but like, come on, it's there are people who are similar to that in real life. So that's why I'm like, you might, it felt a little callous, but again, it's coming from the perspective of these people who are growing up with the runes, not people in real life. So I kind of agree with you. Whatever, doesn't matter.
And it's a weird dichotomy, I guess, because Tia gets mad at her all the time, but then it's like it's only by luck of the draw that he's not her, so he feels bad at what's going through, but it's frustrating at the same time.
And he didn't ask. Now the twins are like basically parents for their other twins for the rest of their lives, the 30 years or whatever.
Yeah, it becomes a bird. Like I said, they come back and they lead a horrible life till they die. Like I don't know, some can talk. I don't remember any of them actually talking more than grunting or making a honking noise or something.
No, that she talks because she says something about like what she wants to eat.
Mashed potatoes or something.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. I think that he said the younger ones can come back with some language, but the older ones, it seems to be the worst on. Like they knew what they lost or something.
Yeah, it's like the trauma is so hard, they shut down even more.
Like they were old enough to understand it, so it fucked them up more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fair argument, I guess.
Anyway, back to we keep going back and forth, but
real quick, is ruined like supposed to be ruined?
I could see that.
Because he says that at some point, and I was like, oh, like they're ruined. They're ruined.
Hey, is this like Hodor?
Which actually is awful now that I think about it. I hope not.
I don't know. Oh, you're on speaker, Carmela. I was wondering where all the noise is coming from.
Hi, Kai.
Yeah, wifey's out, so I guess she's got no one to follow around the house. At least they can't reproduce, right? My God, that would be awful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the wolves have been coming for what like 6 generations? I don't know, what, 150 years then, something like that.
Yeah.
So, Andy's been there how long? Someone would have had to update or change his programming in the recent past to update the wolves, right?
Right. Yes.
When Andy originally got there, it had nothing to do with the wolves.
Well, we don't. I mean, I don't know. I can't remember if they say specifically how long Andy's been there, but he could have come with them.
Why is Andy still working? Why is there no other Andys around?
Yeah.
Who is working on him?
That's my question. Was he there before, or again, did he come with the wolves?
Yeah, why does this village in the middle, like, a farming community in the edge of the desert, have a fucking robot walking around in it?
Wait, but all of the Callas get afflicted by this. Does that mean that Andy visits all of them, or they all have their own robot to tell them?
No, they all have the wolves, I think is what he meant.
No, but right, but Andy is there to warn them, which
To warn all the Callas? No, I don't think there's an Andy in every Calla or
that's
every.
what I'm asking. Yeah.
Maybe he tells like one up to like 3 of them, the ones that he can reach, and then from there the word just spreads through.
Do the wolves hit them all at once? I don't think we know that either.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't think we know. So, because he named 2 or 3. It was Calla something, and something didn't have a Bryn. It was just Calla Bryn something, and then Calla something.
Yeah.
So those, and that's a couple more trains, right? So, and these kids come back. I naked and like starving and covered in shit after 2 or 3 days on a train car that I guess isn't. They have no way of knowing how fast it goes, but it doesn't feel like it's in any hurry. It's like 2 or 3 days at least to get back, but I don't feel like they're riding on horses for 2 or 3 days when they take them, because they're like, double kidding some of the horses. So like it can't be a 2 or 3 day journey like that. So it seems I forget what the hell my point was.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying.
I was just talking about the image of like the kids like on the train car coming back like in their underwear, crying, probably some in some mouths, covered in poop because they're babies, and now they're babies with no brains. And that's like the good part. Then they come back and scream and cry for a month.
Oh yeah, while they change.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. I just thought they were big when they came back, and that was the end of them.
It's so strange. Yeah, I get it's all made up, but I'm like, that part is weird to me too. That you turn into a giant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all weird, but like what?
Maybe he sits around with Joe and Owen and is like, how could we really just make it awful for him?
Yeah.
Like, hold on, here, like this.
Yeah, it's like which town has it worse, them or Lud? Well, I guess now, actually, never mind, because they're all dead. So,
Yeah, do you want Andy? Like, why is Andy at that one? I don't think everyone else has an Andy. So what is it about this one that they get an Andy?
I mean, it could just be like Ali said, that one of them gets one and they spread it around to the rest of them.
He does the same thing with Eddie. He like tells them enough to not do anything with, just enough to be like, wait, what? And then he's like, nope, directive 19. Sorry about your luck. Which is part of the 19 obsession that started immediately, like on the first page of this book. I didn't realize that. Like Ali said, like it's 19. I'm like, okay, we get it. Like, I like when things go 19. It's very relevant, but Relax yourself. Sneetches are from Harry Potter, right?
What?
Sneetches?
Oh,
Aren't they from Harry
Sneetches.
Potter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing that, like, I
That's
remember
when
when
they
I
still
read
like each other. Sorry.
this the first time, where it's just like all like trying to figure out where they are, because I'm like, what is going on in this world where they have now? Obviously, I understand that it's just a blending of worlds, but like they have Hey Jude and they have Harry Potter references, and I'm like, it's just so random, especially because like when the Dark Tower started, Harry Potter wasn't created yet. So I was just like, that can't be what I think it is, right? Is that what he's talking about?
They used to be friends, so you know, maybe it's just like, hey, I like those stories. I'm going to use that. She's like, oh, it can't be a bad thing if Stephen King's putting my stuff in it. Not that she needed any recognition, but
I mean, technically, I don't know if they're ever called snitches.
Sneetches.
No, I know. So technically, it could be made that it's not hers.
Hers are called snitches.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Wait,
it's
what
not
are
the same
we?
word. I didn't know that. That's what I was
Well,
asking. So it's not the same word.
it's not the same thing because his is like a
A
weapon, right?
Yeah. But it's based
And,
off of, it looks like the Golden Snitch.
huh, interesting.
Right.
And
I did not put that together in my head.
It's like, well, you get more information later on. I don't think I knew that now.
Oh, okay.
Another good analogy is the flying metal balls in Phantasm. If you've ever seen that, I'm gonna assume no because it was like in the late '70s. But I think Netflix did a remake recently. It's just an old guy with a like silver ball that he throws at people, and like spikes and blades come out of it, and they spin and twist. So that's what the sneaks make me think of.
So yeah, it's like it's a golden snitch that instead of running away from you, it targets you and then eviscerates you.
Lovely.
Yeah.
The wolves themselves are terrible fearsome. They look somewhat like men, and yet they are men, but something bigger and far more awful. Summit. I like that. And those they serve in far thunderclap are more terrible by far. Vampires, I've heard. Men with the heads of birds and animals mayhap. Oh, mayhap. They got a Maine accent in the Calla. A Spanish Calla with a Maine accent.
Isn't I beg ya like a main thing? Probably not.
I don't think so. Like a lot of times when I do like, Dark Tower stuff like Psy and things like is that all Calla speak? I don't think I realized that. Do ya, I think.
We've seen Psy before. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think Psy's Dark Tower. I think he Psy might be. No, that was in Wizard and Glass. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
a lot of the stuff, dialect that I think of when I think of it. The what?
The one I remember seeing here now is that set my watch and warrant on it.
Yeah.
I thought we saw that in Mages too, though, or in Gilead, whatever.
Yeah, for your father's sake. That's when he's really mad. He's like, "Oh my God, stop, Eddie, for your father's sake!" Like, ooh, he must be really mad. Like when your parents. First time my dad said "fuck," I was like, "Oh God, I really messed up this time."
Same.
So, yeah, I think most of the dialect when I think of the Dark Tower is straight out of the Calla, and I didn't really realize that.
I like how they're like Eddie and Susanna are consciously thinking about how like they want to speak like them, but they're like, it's gonna sound weird if I say it. How come Roland sounds so cool and he says it?
And like they're all thinking about how to speak like them for some reason.
Yeah.
And then a couple of pages later, Eddie did it, and he's like, "Wow, that came out like kind of natural that time."
It's like just don't think about it.
Yeah, Eddie's like, "Do ya?" He's like, "I couldn't say the I beg part. It just felt too forced."
Do you can it?
Yeah. Oh, that's Calla speak, right? Can it?
I think I haven't seen that yet. I don't remember.
I think we have.
I'm pretty sure we did really early on too, because y'all thought that Stephen King like made it up, and I was like, no, they say that in Scotland. Like, do you understand?
I like how they talk about the Dickens stuff, about how people didn't like Dickens because he would just insert a convenient, you know, deus ex machina, for lack of a better word, into the plot when he needed to.
Well, I thought
And
they were
then
saying. I guess that is the same. They were saying more that like too many coincidences happen, which I guess you could say is sort of the same thing. But
right, yeah, it is because there's no coincidences. Every word was written on purpose, so books don't have coincidences.
that's a good point.
Um, so yeah, and Roland and them are talking about it, and then because well, first of all, Roland's like, okay, so let me get this straight. You think you're going to come into this world and just like shoot time like a gun in a certain spot and go there, not once, but twice, and you think this is normal, right? No big deal. He's like, well, I guess from your perspective, it would be. Y'all came through magic doors, which, by the way, I've never seen before. You guys came through them,
Right. He's like, I've been doing this 1,000 years, and the first time I saw doors was on the beach. So good luck with
right?
that.
Yeah, it's not like this is a door society,
Yeah.
a door universe.
Oh, but that was such a great moment though when Callahan was just like, "Well, I can help with that."
Right, and that's where I was going. They talk about how people hate when Dickens does that, and they did the exact same thing. Like they
I
were
didn't even
stuck;
think
they
about
didn't know what to do. And then Callahan's like, "Well, I have a time traveling ball in my floorboards under the church. If you want that."
it.
I'm like, "Oh, come on, that was convenient."
Or yeah, a time right, not and one that this time will somehow like well, not entirely. It's like a genie. You sort of get to decide where it goes.
Yeah, and like Roland's funny. He's like, "So not once, but twice. You want to do
Right.
this?" Uh,
I can't
yeah.
wait. I can't wait to hear more about what Callahan's been up to too, because I love that story. And I'm like, why does he have this
Yeah,
ball?
there's a whole. I guess that's in Telling Tales, but there's a whole. Yeah, Callahan's backstory is why I like Callahan. Oh, let me say, Dark Tower Callahan is why I like Callahan. I don't give a shit about Sam Lot Callahan.
Yes. I
Um,
forgot. I didn't remember Salem's Lot Callahan at all until we read it, and I was like, ew, who is this guy?
and he's not old then, right? He's a lot older here. Like he's the old man. He's got
He's
white hair and all that.
yeah, old fella.
So I love his journey to get to the Calla. Because first you're like, what in the fuck is a guy from Salem's Lot doing in the Dark Tower? And I still kind of say that. Like, why did he? What made him bring Calla? Did like one of his fans be like, man, I really felt bad the way you treated Callahan. He needs redemption.
Well, I wonder if it had more
maybe.
to do with the vampires. And he was like, you know what? You know who I should bring back and give him another chance?
Well, which came first, Callahan or the vampires?
That's what I'm asking. I don't know.
Yeah. Did he bring back Callahan because he had vampires? Was there already vampires before this? Like, well, yeah. Well, actually, yes. They're sort
Salem's
of.
Lot would have been written before this, so maybe once he brought in vampires to this story, he was like, "Who have I written about that's already dealt with vampires that could aid this story?"
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Was there vampires before Callahan showed up in the Dark Tower?
Yeah.
There was the little sister vampires. I don't know if they are they Yeah, I guess they were vampires.
They were vampires, yeah.
Yeah, the doctor bumps creep me out more than the sisters for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, those are kind of the same thing, I think. I'm not sure. So okay, and I guess that was why. So why didn't he bring? It would have been cooler if like Ben and Mark showed up. They've been driving around for the last 30 years of vampire hunting.
No, yes, but like knowing what we know, it wouldn't have worked.
Callahan's story is cool, and I think that's coming in the next chapter.
We
But
need Callahan for everything. Not for everything, but you know what I mean.
I didn't like Ben really. I mean, Mark was fine, but
I also agree with
that whole book like has a tone, a very disconnected tone. It's kind of weird. Like that's like one of the few Stephen King books where I don't feel like I'm in it. I'm more watching it.
yeah.
So I never really like connected with Ben or really Mark was kind of I don't know. I didn't like Ben or Mark.
feel
No,
like
so maybe that's why it was Callahan, because I did kind of like him, even though he was a shit.
I mean, he was hard on himself, but he tried more than anyone. I feel, well, maybe besides Mark, but like he tried. He just like failed, and sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
And picked a
I
bad
think it
time for
would have been cool if instead of Callahan, it was Matt.
Wait, Matt
Wait,
died
what?
though, didn't
Well,
he?
right, but that's one of the ways to get
Oh.
into Midworld is you die.
Only if you're
Wait, who's Matt?
the
Matt was
teacher.
the teacher.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, I like him. He's the guy from Andre Brewer. Do you know who that is?
No.
No.
Are you
He
talking
was
about
on. Yeah, the guy that played Matt. He's in a bunch. If you look him up, you'll know who he is. He's in a bunch of stuff. He was in Homicide in the '90s. It was like Law and Order, but it was Baltimore, and it was a murder every episode. He played a cop in that, so he was nice.
Oh.
I liked him as Matt. He was pretty cool. Matt would have been. Wait, Matt lived. No,
No,
he
Matt
was in the
died.
hospital. We did that. I don't remember. We left him in the hospital, didn't we? And then we went vampire hunting, or maybe maybe Matt went back to his house and got killed by Poirot. Yeah.
No, there was someone he sent to the hospital to take care of Matt. I'm pretty sure he was killed.
I'm pretty sure he was killed because I remember him being like, "Guys, you just need to read all of these books or whatever."
You're right.
Left, like died.
All right. That is the end of the podcast. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.